Hello, it's Bailey and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be diving into these shelves because I'm finally coming to terms with the fact that I need to do some sort of unhaul. If you've been here for a little while, you'll know that last Christmas I used to have 3 of these, like 3 shelved shelves, and I got a 4th one for Christmas and they're overflowing. Like, that one is completely full and I have books sitting around other places. So it's time to do it. I don't think I've done a true unhaul since I started my channel. I get rid of books as I read them if I don't enjoy them. So on my shelves is basically only 4- and 5-star books, which is what I'm going to be going through and trying to decide to get rid of. There is some 3 stars sitting on there if they're part of a series or that I decided to keep for some reason. So that's what we're going to be going through today. I'm going to quickly show you just like an overview of how everything is sitting now. So hopefully I can have some sort of satisfying, like, this is how much space I made at the end of this video. I do organize my bookshelves in order by author last name. So that's how I'm going to be going through them as well. I'm going to go through them one shelf at a time. So yeah, I'm gonna get into it. I didn't like clean anything up to do this. I figure it would be more satisfying to clean them up once I get rid of some stuff. But here is how they are currently sitting. So I have, like I said, I have 4 of these shelves. And then what I have just kind of sitting around is up here. These are like some rereads I would like to get to. And this is kind of like books I'm trying to get to by the end of the year. And then so throughout the shelves, it is all read books through that top row, through the second row to here. So that's all read. And then these 3 shelves are unread. And then this little stack here is just like what I've bought this month. So this is what we are starting with, and like I said, I'm gonna go shelf by shelf and try to slim some of these down. I don't like to get rid of books that I haven't read, so I did decide that for every 10 books I can get rid of from my read books, that I will allow myself to get rid of 1 unread book. So that's just kind of what I'm going off of here. I'm hoping to get rid of maybe about like 20 books. Okay, I've gone through the shelves. I have no good way of like filming me do that because I don't actually have a tripod. If you've never realized that, you're sitting on a chair right now. But I did go through the shelves and I have 14 books that I pulled off of there and then 1 from my TBR stack. So I'm just going to go through those quickly. And that's the unhaul. So from the first shelf, the only thing that I pulled off is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. This was just an okay YA book to me, so I am willing to get rid of this one. It is a signed first edition, so somebody might be happy to find this. Then the second shelf, I actually grabbed 3 books from, and they were the 2 Immortals After Dark books that I had on the shelf. I think I gave both of these 2 or 3 stars. They're definitely not my favorites in the series. The series as a whole is not my favorite, but I am still continuing. There are some that I've enjoyed more than others, and these 2 just weren't those. I picked these up at Half Price Books, very cheap, like they're mass market paperbacks, not in great condition. And so if I'm going to keep any of the books from the series, these aren't necessarily what I care to keep. And then I also pulled The Troop by Nick Cutter. I read this year, and I did only give this one 3 stars. I do think I will give Nick Cutter another try, but this one specifically was just a 3-star read for me. Then I have a book that I actually have 2 copies of, and I've held on to these 2 copies for a while because this one is actually tabbed. So it is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I have this copy, which is actually a second copy that I had purchased and tabbed, but also my dog had like at some point chewed this book up. But I was holding on to this one because it is the one that I have tabbed, so if I was going to reread this, I would love to like see what I tabbed. But I do also own another copy, which is like a signed first edition, so I'm not going to get rid of that one. So I think I am just going to get rid of the tabs and get rid of this second copy. Then the fourth shelf, I actually also got 3 books off of. So I took From Alaska with Love by Allie James. This is something I gave 3 stars. It is a romance. I remember thinking it was better than I was expecting. If you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know every once in a while I let Chris pick a book at a bookstore, like any book he wants for me to read. And so this is one that he had picked for me. So I kind of held on to it for that reason, but it was only 3 stars. So getting rid of that. Then a book I actually enjoyed quite a bit, but I would never want to reread this, and it's not really relevant to me anymore, is Bitter Brew by William... I don't know how to pronounce that last name. I'm sorry. I read this when I was still like bartending, so it was very interesting to me. It is basically about the like Anheuser-Busch family and their family drama. And like I said, it was interesting, but I would never want to reread this now. Then I'm getting rid of You by Caroline Kepnes. I think I gave this one 4 stars when I first read it, but I actually hated the second book, Hidden Bodies. And like thinking back on this series as a whole, I talk pretty negatively about this series, so I don't feel like I need to hold on to this. It's not something I enjoy, so I am parting ways with this one. Next, I had 2 books that I think these might be the most controversial that I'm getting rid of. The first one being One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I have decided to give up on this series. I just didn't enjoy the second one at all. This one I think I rated higher than I should have, and so I'm parting ways with this one. And then I'm also parting ways with Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I don't love this as much as everyone else did, and again, this is something I would never want to reread. I remember like really hating how long the chapters were, so getting rid of that. Then I don't know if any of you have ever noticed that this sits on my shelf, but I was still holding on to a copy of The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, which if you know anything about Dave Ramsey and like his practices, I guess, like we follow a debt-free lifestyle, but like other things that he preaches I don't agree with, like his whole methods. So I would never reread this. I don't follow his beliefs, I guess, so parting ways with this. I have another one I've held on to because it is a signed edition that I actually went to a signing for, but I didn't enjoy this book and I don't want to read any more of her books, and it is Again But Better by Christine Riccio. I didn't enjoy this book, but like I said, I did go to like the signing when she did the book tour for this and got the book signed, so I was kind of holding on to it, but I'm ready to let it go. And then I had 2 copies of this one, and I have no reason to have 2 copies. I do like this book, but it's not something that is like my all-time favorite, so there's no reason for me to have 2 copies, and that is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. And this last book I decided to get rid of from my red shelves is actually something I enjoyed pretty much, but again, not anything I would ever want to reread, and it's a huge book that's taking up a lot of space, so I'm going to be getting rid of The Invention of Hugo Cabret by Brian Selznick. Like I said, I enjoyed this pretty well, but it is a chunky book. This is like half in like pictures and half in text. Again, I enjoyed it fairly well. Never gonna reread it, and it's huge. So parting ways with this. So then for the one book I decided to get rid of from my unread TBR is a book I had picked up secondhand, and I picked it up because it was going to be a pick for a book club. I believe this was going to be a pick for the Historical Hellions book club. I'm not sure, but the book club has like came and passed, and I didn't read it. It's a long book, and that is Flowers of the Storm by Laura Kinsale. I've also heard that this has to do with like mental health, and that there is some sort of like insane asylum plot to this, and I just know I'm not going to enjoy it. So I'm ready to part ways with this one, and that wraps up everything I'm going to be getting rid of. So I did get 15 books here, which isn't like a major unhaul to some people probably, but like I said, I keep my shelves pretty curated already, and this will definitely be clearing up some space for me at least through the end of the year. I'm sure I will have to do this again eventually. I'm sorry if it hurts your heart that I'm getting rid of any of these, but it is what it is. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.